Just so you guys know, I don't know if I mentioned this before or not. So literally the Sunday after our last regular season game, I met with all of them. So we tried to schedule it ahead of time with their parents because they were in town for the game, so they could stay over and we could meet the next morning. Their position coach and myself, and then we had put together basically a whole presentation. Because to me, it's not about convincing them to stay. It's let me give you all the information that I can get based on my resources and contacts so that you can make an educated decision and make a great decision.
We're focused on Kentucky right now. I haven't really been thinking about it. I mean, we had a meeting with Coach Franklin, all the players that could have the potential to leave, but we're still focused on the season, so I haven't really made a decision right now.
If a decision would be announced, is it fair to assume that would come after the bowl game?
Yeah.
Where I think people struggle with sometimes is they think the coach is always going to tell the guy to come back. I told Saquon Barkley a year before, his last season that he needs to leave. Obviously at the end of the season, it was a pretty easy decision, but I told him a year before. So for us, where I think people kind of get confused there is it really should be a very complimentary process in decision-making. And what I mean by that is if the guy leaves early and he's a first or second round draft choice, that's good for him and his family. That's also good for Penn State football. If he leaves early and gets drafted very late or not drafted at all, that's bad for him and his family, and that's bad for Penn State football. So it's a battle. But I met with all those guys on Sunday, had really good conversations, but the conversation wasn't like we're deciding today. It's here's the information. Let's continue talking about this. Make sure you include us in the process so we can help and guide and be prepared because it impacts us as well. And that's constantly going. So nothing new right now at this point. Right now, we're planning on having everybody for the game, but again, that changes. And I think sometimes I'll meet with you guys and tell you something, and then a few days later, it's different. And it's not that we, weren't upfront with you guys and transparent. It's just it changes. It changes weekly, it changes daily. And what I always try to tell our guys is, why would you ever declare early in the process? Because there may say you're a kicker. I'll use that as an example because I don't know if Blake's coming out early. But say you're a kicker and you decide to come out early and you make that decision after the last game, and then between then and the draft, 15 other juniors come out early. Why would you make that decision? You want to have as much information as you possibly can to make a great decision, and the later you can do that, the better.